problem like this, and then you'd have to have done for that.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon, the day of the 23rd Annual Shepherd Scholar Award Ceremony. I believe that's right, 23rd. It is a pleasure to be here and to honor wonderful students who have accomplished so much, and to celebrate again the generosity of the Shepherd family. We are so pleased to have you all here. As the ceremony unfolds, we will meet some wonderful students and hear about some terrific accomplishments. First off, we will turn the time over to Shivley, who will offer some remarks on behalf of the ESU Foundation.
Thank you, Gary, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shane Shivley. I get to serve as the President and CEO of the Emporia State University Foundation, a role of which I enjoy every day because I get to spend time with these lovely folks here, which have incredible impact with the students that we'll meet later today. So thank you. As normal, a beautiful day on the campus of Emporia State University, but today there's just a little something different. The sun's shining a little brighter, maybe the wind's not quite blowing 40 miles an hour, and there's just a sense of spirit in the air. So today, I attribute that to the celebration of the Shepherd Scholars. As we look around the room, we recognize that we are surrounded by families, friends, and faculty, as well as our special guests, the Shepherd's family. I thank each and every one of you for your support in these students that we have here today. You each play a role in their incredible accomplishments, both here on campus as well as the incredible impact that we'll have on the world ahead of them. So on behalf of the Emporia State University Foundation, I thank the Shepherd family for their generosity and their confidence to invest in our students and our campus, and their investment in the courageous minds that we have, of which we'll get to know a little bit more as we move forward with the program. So once again, I am proud to serve in my role. I'm proud of the Shepherd family and their investments, and I think they're equally as proud as well. So once again, my gratitude to each of you for taking the time to celebrate today, and go Hornets.
So the ceremony will proceed with each student and presenter coming to the podium. The presenter will introduce the student, following which the student will receive their award. And as we proceed with this, you will be able to learn about the lives of each of these students and their plans for the future. We are going to ask, as each presenter comes forward, that the student come forward at the same time, so that the presentation is made with the student by the presenter's side. Our first winner is Gabby Ampron, and she will be introduced by Mel Storm, Professor of English, Modern Languages, and Journalism.
It's nice having the winners come forward and stand with us. This way we can embarrass them even more than they're accustomed to. There are two components necessary for the success of a program like the Shepherd Scholarships. The first is a perennially generous family like the Shepherds to provide them. The second is the existence of outstanding students like Gabby Ampron to deserve them. And it's my honor to introduce Gabby Ampron to you. The Shepherd Scholarships were conceived with students like Gabby in mind. A few years ago, Gabby came to us from the contradictorily named town of Liberal, Kansas, with a mission to pay forward her debt to the passionate educators she encountered early in life who, as she puts it, poured their heart and soul into their work to provide an education meaningful, adaptive, relevant, and inclusive. Gabby took full advantage of the opportunity that was placed before her, and as a result, she's here with us today, majoring in English education and minoring in health promotion. Gabby's one of those students that you love to have in class. Not only does she do good work, she's always a leading contributor to discussion and an enthusiastic participant in classroom activities. I can't conceal the fact that I hope one day to have her join our graduate program. She's intelligent and thoughtful. She's a fine writer and an editor. She's an articulate speaker, and she's dedicated to the academic community and to academic excellence. These are the qualities that we hope for in our students. These are the qualities we hope for in our Shepherd Scholars. Gabby keeps up an outstanding academic record while remaining extraordinarily busy, participating in campus activities and organizations, and working to put herself through school. She works 3 on-campus jobs. In fact, I sometimes find myself wondering where her energy comes from. She's employed in the undergraduate admissions office. She's an ESU ambassador on the executive board as their social chair at that. She's a member of the ESU Stingers dance team, the Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society, and HALO, the Spanish American Leadership Organization. As if this were not enough to occupy her time, she's the Spanish editor for the Bulletin. She admits to being something of a grammar Nazi, as a result of which she edits she is the Spanish editor for the Bulletin. And she edits Spanish language stories and English stories as well. To keep idleness at bay, she teaches a group fitness class for ESU Recreation Services, Zumba, I believe, which somebody explained to me is not a robotic vacuum sweeper. In fact, it evidently means that one of her challenges is choreographing aerobic routines. She's in the Honors College, of course. Additionally, I'm delighted that she'll be a participant this summer in my London travel study program, preparation for which is itself more than a little time-consuming, as she's discovering. Now, I'm going to steal Gabby's own words, excuse me, in trying to sum up her spirit. Every experience here at Emporia State is helping me become the best version of myself. Knowing this, I feel confident that one day I can have a significant impact in the lives of the young adults I will have the privilege to call my students. Remembering this end goal at the end of every semester, every month, and every week is what keeps me motivated to give my all in everything I do. This is Gabby Amperin, an outstanding student, an indefatigable worker, and an energetic campus leader. She epitomizes the spirit of the Shepherd Scholarship Program, and I take great pride in introducing her to you.
Wow, I have no idea how to follow up that eloquent, just beautifully written speech. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I would like to thank my mom for making the 5-hour trip on a Tuesday morning just to come support me and stand here on behalf of the rest of my family that unfortunately couldn't make the trip along with her. My family has been the backbone of all of my successes and has been there through all of my struggles, and I just have them to credit for the reason that I'm standing up here today. Next, I would like to thank Dr. Storm for taking time out of not only his day, but out of his class. And if you've ever been in a Dr. Storm class, those never get canceled. So don't get your hopes up. And it's just professors and faculty members like him here at ESU who have made my time so enjoyable, just so beneficial, and like I said, have just contributed greatly to my preparation to someday return back to my hometown and teach. And then lastly, I would like to thank you, the donors, the Shepherd family. Through your generosity, it's students like us who can continue to pursue their dreams, and I am just so grateful that I was chosen to receive this wonderful honor, because I know that now I am one step closer, like I said, to fulfilling my dream of returning back to my hometown and imposing my knowledge. So, thank you.
Our next winner, Savannah E. Bender, will be introduced by Dr. Tim Barnett.
So Savannah came to my office in the fall of 2016 seeking an opportunity to work in my research lab. I invited her to get involved by shadowing another student, which is something I typically do for students that want to get involved in research. That way the other students can report back to me how they're doing and what they're all about. I was quickly impressed with her, especially about how she took a great curiosity in the projects that we had going on in our lab, and she asked terrific questions about them, very insightful questions. About this time last year, she took over one of the projects in my lab to discover how the small intestine develops tolerance to microflora and food allergens. The basic plan of Savannah's project was pretty much already designed when she began working. Her task was simply to implement the plan. And this involved learning a lot of new skills and also learning how to be careful with attention to detail and have meticulous record keeping. Once our samples were safely in the freezer, she began learning a really advanced technique called quantitative reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. And this is almost as complicated as the name sounds. She became very adept at following protocol, learning how to do the technique, but she also improvised a little bit. She started to learn how to innovate new ways to optimize the procedure, and different ways to analyze the samples. And over the next few months, she became really ESU's resident expert on QRT-PCR. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that she knows more about qPCR than any graduate student on campus and most of the faculty on campus. The results from our experiment weren't exactly what we expected, but this isn't too surprising for those of us that do basic research, because when you ask questions that get to the heart of how the body works, the results most often lead to this horribly unsatisfying gray area of uncertainty. What they really reveal is that there's just more work that needs to be done. Undergraduates are not typically comfortable with this uncertainty. They want things to be exact, to be false or falsehood. To live in that space of ambiguity requires a boldness that comes from being self-assured in your own knowledge, and more importantly, understanding the limits of that knowledge. It requires resilience, ambition, and an undying curiosity. Participating in undergraduate research has nurtured all of these traits in Savannah. To represent that to some extent, Savannah recently applied for a prestigious STAR Award from the K Embry. In 17 years, only 3 students from ESU have won this award. The application requires a research proposal, so I asked Savannah to prepare a rough draft to see how she would take the results of our previous experiments and develop new directions for our project. I fully intended from that draft for us to spend a significant amount of time going back and forth doing editing and polishing on that, but instead what she turned in was almost perfect. It was insightful, it was creative, and it was extremely well written. And I was most impressed that she didn't see our results as sort of a disappointing endpoint. Instead, she reconsidered the questions that we were asking. She invented new ways to address those questions. I changed only one sentence in the entire draft and submitted it pretty much as she had written it. We were both eagerly waiting the decision that should be coming pretty quick. Savannah's going to be a doctor of medicine. Her academic credentials, disposition, and passion for healthcare leaves no doubt in my mind that her achievement of this goal is inevitable. So you might ask why Savannah would spend all this time and energy to work on a research project for 2 full years, assuming we get funding for next year. Wouldn't her time be better spent shadowing doctors, volunteering in a hospital, doing community service, or just studying for the MCAT? Believe me, Savannah does all of those things. She does those on top of doing the research project. Savannah, though, is one of those unique students who persists in the research lab for multiple semesters because she is inspired by its challenges. And perhaps more importantly, she consistently aspires to contribute in meaningful ways. She has a remarkable sense of how participating in undergraduate research, volunteerism, community involvement will help her realize her goal of becoming a doctor. Not because these activities will impress a medical school admissions board, but because she understands the intrinsic value of the lessons learned through research and the power to affect change through leadership and engaging with the broader community. I cannot think of another student who is more honorable of this recognition. Congratulations, Savannah.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, especially to the biology and the chemistry department and all the faculty and staff that have really helped me out to really push me to be the best that I can be and to get me involved in things like research. And if it wasn't for this department, I don't think I would have achieved that. And I also just want to thank all of my fellow science majors that really pushed me. Some of them are even here today. That really pushed me to be the best that I can be and create a really great sense of community for me that really inspire me to keep working hard. And I also just want to thank the Shepherd family so much. Your generosity is astounding, and I really appreciate everything you guys do.
Our next winner, Erin M. Dalkey, will be introduced by Rob Catlett.
Normally I don't read anything, but there's something I'm going to have a really hard time saying without having that right in front of me. First of all, thank you to the Shepherd family. I have been in front of you so many times over the past several years, and Savannah and Erin were just in one of my classes, so it is an absolute delight to have the Shepherd scholars in my class and to interact with them in other aspects of our lives. So let me tell you a few things about Erin that you may not know. She comes to us from Kearney, Nebraska. She's a valedictorian for her high school class. And she came to us not as an economics major. She came to that after enduring one of my beginning econ classes, I think. But Erin has some special talents beyond her impressive intellect and her absolutely astonishing work ethic. Her passion for knowledge and social justice is beyond compare. The thing that I'm going to have a really hard time saying is something about grading. And those of my students who know me well know I am not fond of grading. So I'm going to read you a segment out of the letter that I wrote for Erin. Generally, I'm not fond of grading. I think that's an understatement. Because in economics, it takes incredible amounts of time to offer the kind of feedback and guidance that might be helpful to each individual student. I never thought I would say this. I never, ever thought I would say this. However, I actually enjoy grading Erin's work. I never have said that before about grading any student's work. She is eager for feedback, and just when I think I've seen the very best, I see something else in terms of her writing. And her writing is truly impressive. And when I look at things, I thought, who wrote this? And then it turns out it's Erin. I'll still make suggestions. I'm struggling to find anything I can do to make suggestions. And the next thing I know, Erin has incorporated those suggestions into her future writing. Those of us who have had dozens, hundreds, in my case, nearly 20,000 students, it is extremely rare for students to internalize that and to actually incorporate it into what they do. Erin is my favorite in terms of grading. Last night, I was still grading at 12:30 in the morning, and the thing that gets me going is to read Erin's first. I think, I really want to do this. Even when I don't have time to do it, it pushes me in that direction. I know that's hard to say. I knew I couldn't do it without that, so let me share a couple of other things that I think are important distinguishing aspects of Erin Dalkey. We have a quantitative economics major. It's one of the very few STEM majors in economics in the United States. Yale has one. We're the only department of math and econ in the US. And so most of our students have serious amounts of mathematics. Beyond the beginning courses in mathematics, they average about 18 to 20 hours of mathematics beyond the beginning course in mathematics. So we have students who are truly impressive in terms of their quantitative skills. And you think in terms of economics, you might see big dollar signs in Erin's eyes. You know, you might say, okay, here's an economics major. She aspires to earn huge amounts of income. Erin aspires to be a minister. She wants to go to graduate school in divinity. But she also is seriously considering getting another master's degree in econometrics before she does it. That is rare. It's extremely rare for somebody to have that kind of passion, that kind of dedication, and to have that much desire for learning. In terms of social justice, I will never forget what happened in a globalization class. Students are doing the presentation. It's a pro-seminar format where students do the presentation the entire class period. So Erin and a classmate are focused on women. I wish I had a recorder because it was one of those things, I've got shivers running up and down my spine. It was one of those, oh my goodness moments. As Erin was focused on the social justice for women, not just in developing countries, but here in the United States. That carried over. She was part of the leadership program. When the university didn't have enough funds to continue its most popular minor, the leadership minor, Erin spearheaded the drive to try to save that program. As I was visiting with the provost afterwards, he said they were really impressive. The provost was trying to find any which way he could to be able to find funds to fund that leadership minor. However, and Erin's success, Erin didn't have success there. In fact, it was a failure, but not on the part of Erin. We still might have been able to do it, but the faculty member realizing that it was highly unlikely, or at least a 50-50 shot he would not have a job here, took another job at the University of Kansas at the semester. So to try to continue a program without the mentor of that program would be a huge challenge. Erin knew that the odds were against her, but she still was in that fight. Erin is committed to social justice. She's committed to the American Democracy Project. Her intellect, her work ethic, her, oh my goodness, passion for social justice is beyond compare. I could go on and on. I know that I've got faculty senate in a little bit, and so I'm going to cut that short. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Erin Dahlke as a Shepherd Scholar.
It is an honor to be a Shepherd Scholar presented this afternoon, and I'd just like to take a moment to thank, of course, my family and my friends who weren't able to be here today, but I've gotten a lot of texts from my mom this morning, so I know they're here with me in spirit. I'd also like to thank all my professors here at Emporia State, especially Kenna Reeves, Clint Stevens, and of course Rob Catlett for always believing in me and for pushing me to be my best. And I'd finally just like to thank the Emporia State community as a whole. It's such an encouraging and wonderful place to be, and I know that I probably would not be in the place I am now without all the support I have received. And finally, I'd like to thank the Shepherd family, not only for this academic honor, but also for your support as members of the local church where I currently work, and for my future aspiration of becoming an ordained elder. And I just really appreciate not only this scholarship, but also that support as well. So thank you all, and thank all of you for being here as well.
Our next recipient is Brianna Gilbert, major in nursing, and she has done me the pleasure of asking me to introduce her, which I'm very delighted to do. her start as a young girl taking piano lessons from my wife. And for quite a while too, yes. And so I was very privileged throughout much of my life to hear her, have her lesson downstairs, hear her practice, get better and better, and really become a fine pianist. Just a few years ago, I decided that I would try to take the piano lessons as well from my wife, so I do. And I actually get to play in the same recital once in a while, although I admit that she leaves me far in the dust with her abilities as a pianist. But it's an honor to be there and to listen to such beautiful music. This is not Brianna's only passion, though. Her other passion is nursing and her desire to help people who are ill. And so with that in mind, she's seeking to become a registered nurse, but she has not lost her love for music, as you'll see in a few minutes when we talk about the ways in which she has fused the two passions. Brianna was admitted to Emporia State University as a degree-seeking student in the fall of 2015. At that same time, she was also welcomed into the Honors College because of her outstanding academic work. Work at a level that she continues to demonstrate to this date. She has completed adaptive leadership training. She has continued her studies of piano and is doing wonderful things in nursing, having recently completed an internship focusing on issues with music and I think the heart. Was that not part of, am I right, wrong on that, part of the heart? Yeah, thank you, okay. She has recently made a presentation of her work at the Great Plains Honors Council, and I'm going to hold this up. She is a published author in the Nursing Journal of Imprint. She is the lead author on an article focusing on how music helps nursing. And it's a wonderful article and does a great deal to help bring her two passions together. She has been named on the Dean's Honors List multiple times and has a wonderful future ahead of her as she continues to move forward, preparing to be a registered nurse and to bless other people's lives in that way. So it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Brianna Gilder as a Shepherd Scholar winner.
I just want to say thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. This was made possible through the generosity of the Shepherd's family. But all of this would not have been possible without Dr. Wyatt and the Honors College and all of the support that I've had through them, as well as the nursing department. I would like to specifically thank Mrs. Gina Peak, who is my co-author for this article, and she was kind of the inspiration and the driving force behind all of this research, so very blessed to have known her and have been in this department. I would also like to thank my family for always supporting my love of music and helping me with my passion of sharing this music with other people. I know there were many long afternoons, the same songs are practiced over and over again. So thank you for your patience and for always supporting me. So thank you so much for this honor.
Our next winner, Tara L. Lears, will be introduced by Don McConkie, Professor of Music.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to introduce you Tara Lears. I've known her for years now, I think since 2015. She's from Holton, Kansas. And Tara, when she first started, we were a music major and business, and she went everywhere with her friend Lily. And Lily would, and Tara would dress similarly. They had these yellow and black outfits that they loved to wear. Wasn't it to represent ESU as well? It was. And so they played duets together constantly. They wanted to play duets all the time. And the one thing that I noticed, and which is definitely Tara's strength, is she works really well with her peers. And Lily didn't have a lot of confidence, and she was kind of timid and kind of shy. And when she worked with Tara, that part of her playing went away, and she became a much stronger musician. And their performances were wonderful. And then Tara moved on to playing duets with Garrett. And the same type of thing happened. And I began to realize, well, music performance is this wonderful thing that she does so well. And she's also elevating her peers to that same level, which was just fantastic and wonderful for me in my studio. And now she's in a quartet, and that same type of energy is what's happening with that quartet. It is just beautiful to watch, which leads me to her playing is just hands down one of my best students that I've ever had on the clarinet. She's won the honors recital. We've won the MTNA twice, and was a runner-up one year. She's competed at the regional level and has just almost all of her performances are stunning, and she just plays to the best of her ability. We were talking before this. It would have been so much easier for us to get up here and just play you a clarinet duet. That would have just been absolutely ecstatic to have done that for you instead. She's won other things, and she's been first chair in the Kansas Intercollegiate Wind Ensemble last year, and just any of her endeavors in the music department, she just knocks it out of the park every time. I can always count on her to just give beautiful performances. She's music and business administration, and I hear about her business projects and her internships, and I know I could speak probably very confidently that you do the same thing on the other side of her major, and I'm sure does a great job with that as well. It's my pleasure to introduce Tara Lears to you.
I stand before you here with a very humble heart and a very thankful spirit. I am absolutely honored to be a recipient of the Shepherd Scholarship. And I just want to thank the Shepherd family so much for your commitment and generosity to ESU students. You have given me the opportunity to accomplish my educational goals, and I'm just one student of the many students that you have helped and will help in the future. So thank you for your support. I'd also like to thank the faculty and staff at ESU, especially Dr. McConkie, Dr. Comstock, and Dr. Houchins, who are here today. You have helped me to become the best musician and student that I can be. I've grown a lot academically and professionally under your guidance. I also want to thank my friends and family for just showing me the value of friendship and love and how that just fosters even more growth. And then finally, I just want to thank the Emporia community for welcoming me. When I first stepped on campus as a freshman from Holton, Kansas, I was like, wow, this is home. And so Emporia has just blessed me in so many ways. And I hope as I continue with my career goals and HR that I will be able to represent ESU well and then show what it really means to be a Barnett. So thank you.
Our next winner is McReynolds, a political science major who will be introduced by Dr. John Barnett.
I promised Megan I wouldn't embarrass her, so I'm not going to. 2 years ago, I was at a conference at Washington University. And there was this faculty member from a East Coast school, I won't name the school, but he kept making fun of Emporia State. And he kept saying, what does Emporia State produce? And I thought, a commodity? That's an odd question. And my comeback is leaders. And so before you I have a budging leader here. When I met her, I just got back from Vietnam, and I was like getting over jet lag and all this other stuff, and I was just got done with a Fulbright, and it was in the fall of 2016. It was the election year, and she was sitting in my class, and I like to call on people, and so I called on Miss McReynolds. What do you think? Oh my stars! She just went off, and I was like, holy cow! She's reading, she's doing the work, she's analyzing, and I'm like scratching my head going, am I dreaming or not? But no, I wasn't. I didn't hear from her for a while, but I also knew that she was doing like things like ESU ambassador, she was getting involved in the community and all that. But then she really got her feet wet. It's called ASG. We all know what ASG is, right, faculty members? Okay. She became president, and I knew that's when she was going to get her feet wet. And so when I say we have a future leader before us, I'm not sure what kind of leader she will be. And I always jokingly say, will she be governor? I think she can. Will she be Madam Senator? I think she can. Will she be Madam Representative? I think so. I hope it's for the 2nd district. So her goals are to keep pursuing what she's doing. I'm hoping that she'll do a PhD in public policy, and I have the university set for that one, along with the MA. But I really see her with a PhD behind her name. And so I'm proud to present to you all Megan McReynolds, hopefully future governor of the state of Kansas.
No worries, I'm not running for governor right now, but thank you, I'm very humbled for that. I would first like to thank my family. My mom is here today. Without her support, I would not be the person I am today, and I would not have the confidence to stand before you and pursue my education in the capacity that I have. And I would like to thank all my faculty members and staff here at Emporia State University, including Dr. Barnett. Dr. Barnett has seen the potential in me even when I may have not myself. And so without him, I would not be here today in front of you. And to the Shepherd family, I would like to thank you all so much for your support. This goes beyond the monetary gift. It really supports my dreams in pursuing, creating a better world. And so I want you to know that for all the past, previous recipients, you're really making a difference in the lives of students. So thank you so much.
Our next winner, Tiana and Moala, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology major, will be introduced by Professor Charles Brown.
Thank you very much. And I believe it was 20 years ago today, I was director of the ESU Honors Program, and I'm delighted to see it flower and grow over the years. When I was director of the ESU Honors Program, this event was clearly the highlight of my year, and we cannot thank the Shepherd family enough for your commitment and your generosity. It gives year after year after year, and please join me in And I'm also very grateful to be able to do this introduction for Tiana Moala. If it were not for me, she would still be here. And I would also like to thank and congratulate the Shepherd Scholar Selection Committee for their wise choice. And with this in mind, I would like to share with you the letter that I wrote for Tiana. Dear Shepherd Scholar Selection Committee, this letter recommends Tiana Moala for the Shepherd Scholar Award. Tiana was a student in my introduction to philosophy class. Since that time, Tiana chose to pursue a minor in philosophy, and I have had the opportunity to know her better, to learn her life goals and plans, as well as to witness her mature as a thinker, scholar, and person. She exhibits a great high degree of emotional intelligence to complement her academic and athletic achievements. She has the rare ability to clearly articulate and explain abstract concepts and detailed arguments in plain, everyday language without compromising intellectual rigor. That's a rare trait. Her written work continually demonstrates her ability to excel in critical thinking, both as technical problem-solving skills and as critique of underlying and unstated assumptions. She has the ability to synthesize information from a broad array of sources, academic, athletic, and personal, to work out her own ideas, engage in constructive criticism, and creative thinking. I learned that she turned down an academic scholarship to Harvard University to attend Emporia State only after she was convinced that her education would not be compromised. She maintains a very high grade point average, even though she misses many classes in each spring semester while traveling and competing for Emporia State University. She has the ability, the will, and the drive to excel in a very physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding sport, while equally excelling in the classroom. If there is an actually existing Wonder Woman, it just might be Tiana Moala. I learned that she seeks out in demanding classes whenever they provide the opportunity for personal as well as intellectual growth. She views such classes neither as a challenge nor as an accomplishment, but as an opportunity. Her current life goal is to graduate medical school and become a physician. Her motives have little to do with personal success, but with the opportunity to best use her talents, as she puts it, to contribute to the world. In conversation, she lets it slip out that she wants to make a difference on a personal level with her patients. She is interested in working with patients who may not be medically literate, as she puts it, and hopes to guide a larger segment of the community to healthier life choices and better outcome. Tiana Moala has my highest recommendation to be named a Shepherd Scholar, and it is my great honor to introduce to you Tiana Moala.
First, I'd just like to thank Dr. Brown for such a wonderful introduction. Thank you for coming. I'd also like to express how much receiving this recognition means to me. Being an athlete and a pre-medical student, there's a lot of pressure to be perfect, and I've struggled a lot with a lack of confidence. So being recognized as a Shepherd Scholar really gives me the confidence to really reach towards my goals and to keep pushing towards my dream of becoming a physician. Thank you so much to the Shepherds family, everyone here today, and for the support of the community in my academic and athletic goals. Thank you.
Our next winner, Dylan M. Osterhaus, biology major, will be introduced by Professor David Edds, biology department.
Pleasure to get to introduce to you Dylan Osterhaus as a Shepherd Scholar and to get to brag on him a little bit. As you'll see, Dylan is very deserving. He's a biology major emphasizing ecology and biodiversity, and is one of our very top students in our department. He excels both in and outside the classroom. In the classroom, he always seems to score at the very top of the class on projects and exams, including in classes where there are graduate students. He's an example of why we should be allowed to use the grade designation A+. He's an A+ student. He also works part-time as an office assistant in the Department of Communication and Theater. He hails from Topeka and Seaman High School. He's a big KU basketball fan and a Royals fan, even when things aren't going as well like these days. Right? He's gained lots of valuable experience outside of the classroom over the past few summers. In 2016, he was a member of AmeriCorps and worked at Perry Lake State Park. In summer of 2017, last summer, he worked with Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks and Tourism on their stream team, serving southern Kansas for threatened and endangered fishes. Got some tremendous experience there in rivers and streams. And this summer, he'll be working with Wildlife and Parks again on their stream team, but this year up on the Kansas River on a big trawling boat. Dylan's senior research project involves documenting the fishes of ESU's 8 natural areas. And for that, he's using seines and nets and electrofishing. Dylan's president of our biology club, and the biology club is doing great things under his leadership. He's been president since 2015 when he came as a freshman, and I asked him, how does a freshman get to be president of the biology club? And he says at the first meeting that they asked, okay, are there any volunteers to be officers? Anybody would volunteer to be president? And of course, he looked around and Dylan says, I will. And that really says a lot about a freshman coming in with that kind of confidence. And like I said, biology club has grown for the 3 years under his leadership. So thank you very much to the Shepherd family. We really appreciate this for supporting all of these fine students, and congratulations to Dylan and Mr. Strauss.
Well, first I'd like to thank Dr. Edds for that introduction. The reason I chose Emporia State University for my education was because of the size of the university and the professor and student relationships that you can grow at this university. I've had the privilege of having, I think now I'm about to finish my 5th class with Dr. Edds, and he has really pushed me to become the person in academics I am and pushed me to continue to further my education in graduate school. I'd also like to thank my family for getting me to this point. I really relied on them. They pushed me strongly every day to continue to pursue my dreams and push me to be even more of the man I want to be. And finally, I'd like to thank the Shepherd family for establishing and maintaining the scholarship for over 20 years. I am truly grateful and proud to be one of the over 250 students that you have helped in their lives. This scholarship means so much to me, and it's allowed me to continue my education at Emporia State, a university which requires excellence both in the classroom and then in our future communities. And I think you guys, your generosity and contribution really aid that. So I'd just like to say thank you for that.
Our next winner, Tiana E. Parks, psychology major, will be introduced by Kelly McConkie. She is not here, so I have been asked to read the introduction, and I'm very pleased to do so. So I have the letter, but before I do, I'm going to say a few words. I took a little bit of time to check out your record, and I'm a little bit intimidated. I'm an honors dean. I'm not supposed to be, but I am, by somebody who goes through so much of their schooling and not even one A- on there. You know what I mean? That's a little bit intimidating. Absolutely awesome student. Been on the honors list every semester here, excellent grades, doing wonderful things in the Department of Psychology. And so now I'm going to read the letter of recommendation written for Christiana. I am pleased to recommend Christiana Parks for the Shepherd Scholarship. I met Christiana in the fall of 2016 when I became her academic advisor. She was the kind of advisee that makes life easy for professors. Specifically, in anticipation of our meetings, she would arrive prepared with an already developed plan of study. By contrast, many of my advisees want me to choose their classes for them. Sometimes I'm just interspersing a little bit here. When that happens, we almost have heart attacks sometimes. That's not a common thing. But a wonderful preparation. In the spring of 2017, Christiana enrolled in my Learning and Cognition course. She quickly distinguished herself as an exceptional student, earning a grade within the top 1% of the class. The achievement speaks of her analytical talent as measured through multiple choice exams. Christiana also showed critical thinking in her written work, in which she evaluated the assumptions of different theories. For example, in a discussion board post, she asked, if two people start practicing guitar at the same time and practice the same amount each day with the same teacher, yet one of them shows more improvement over time, would you say that he or she has learned more? Could there be another explanation as to why one of them is not showing as much improvement? Christiana was able to anticipate the discrepancies in this theory. The type of independent thinking is sometimes associated with scholarly advances in the field. In addition to her academic pursuits, Christiana has been actively involved in a variety of university organizations, including the Psychology Club and Psychi. Although I can only speak to Christiana's academic achievements, I believe that with her other written letters, you will get a broad perspective of someone who has done a great deal at the issue. I do not hesitate to recommend her for this honor.
It's been really fun to listen and hear all the letters that instructors have to say about people. It's really cool. First, I would like to thank the Shepherd family for even giving me the opportunity to be here, because without you, none of us would be. And then the instructors that have been super supportive and encouraging throughout my time at Emporia State, and specifically Dr. McInerney and Dr. Grover, all of them. And I'd also like to thank my super supportive mama. Hi, Mom. But besides thanking people, I kind of just want to address the other scholars here tonight. So I actually got an email from Dr. Persinger from the psychology department, and he told me that I should apply for this scholarship, me and a handful of other psychology students. And I read the email and I thought, oh, like, I'm not going to apply for that, because I didn't think I would get it. I had self-doubt, and I didn't think that, that I deserved it, I guess. But I had a change of heart, and I talked to my mom, and she said, like, if you don't get it, you're going to be in the same place you are now, basically. So, might as well. So I applied, got all my references, turned in everything, and then a couple weeks went by, and I kind of forgot about it. I didn't really think much of it, didn't think that I would be selected. And then I got the email saying that, congratulations, like, you're a Shepherd Scholar. And I was like, whoa. And I still had, self-doubt that maybe I didn't belong in this group of amazing students. But I just want to say to all the other Shepherd Scholars here that you do deserve to be here, and that you are all amazing students. And I just met most of you this morning. But you can be, you are unstoppable, and not because you live without fear or because you live without failure, but because God gives you the power to overcome your fear and to learn from your failures. So thank you.
Our next winner, Kevin D. Sandoval, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology major, will be introduced by Tullis.
Good afternoon, and thank you to the Shepherd family. As a former supervisor and instructor of Kevin's, I'm so very proud of him for obtaining this achievement. He's a pre-med major and aspiring to be a doctor or medical administrator, and I believe he can do it. He's shooting for 4.0 this semester, and I believe he can do that too. He comes from a great family. I actually went over to his family's house this weekend. His dad gave me a big hug, and so I felt like I was with family, so that was also warm and welcoming. Sure, there was this, since I just moved back from Seattle, Washington, there was this one moment when we bonded over his interest in the University of Washington, but my admiration for Kevin is much deeper than that. You see, Kevin has not had an easy year, and while all of our students are holding on tightly to many burdens other than their studies, I appreciate how open and honest Kevin has been about all his circumstances. He let me know why he needed an extension, or why he needed that, he needed some time off from work. So suddenly, and without even really noticing it, I became a mentor to Kevin, and I was very humbled. I owed him my full attention and support, and I hope I gave that to him. A fond memory I have of Kevin is one in which he was in the trio lab tutoring someone. Him and his tutee were stuck on one problem, so Kevin enlisted the help of the other tutees. It took the group the entire hour to figure out one problem, but together they did it. This again speaks to Kevin's positive attitude towards asking for help. He also didn't just tell the student to move on or talk to the professor about the problem. No, he was compassionate and resourceful and asked for the support of his peers, all while still engaging the tutee. It's just part of Kevin's character. He is a holistic learner who is an active participant of our ESU community and the Emporia community. Congrats, Kevin.
Primero, mom and dad, thank you, los amo tanto. So, 30 years ago, my parents were in El Salvador, and they suddenly get the idea, what is the purpose of living this type of life? Do we want to have kids in this environment? And who knows, 20 years ago, I was born in El Salvador, and maybe another person, or another reality, I would be selling grains with them. But it is thanks to them that I'm speaking English, I have an education, and it is with the prime idea of what it means to make someone proud. So everything I do is for them. So thank you to my parents. Thank you to the Hispanic community of Emporia. I represent them as someone who beats the odds and gets a higher education. So I have a lot of people to make proud. I would like to thank my peers. They've always been someone, both Emporia, fellow Emporians here, and my peers here at ESU. They've been people who have encouraged me. I tend to freak out, and they definitely have been there to just remind me what I've accomplished. And I would like to thank the Shepherd family, because it is you and your organizations that help fund immigrants like me. And I would just like to thank the Emporia community, because it was here that a seed was nurtured, and you guys have made me who I am. I hope to represent everyone in my future endeavors. And shout out to all of y'all. You guys are amazing. Like, hearing all these speeches, like, it's very inspiring. It's beautiful. But yeah, thank you.
Our next winner, Tuan Tran, major in art, will be introduced by Professor Roberta Eichenberg, Department of Art.
Thank you so much. Wow, what a lineup. I am so impressed by all of the students that you've awarded the Shepherd Scholarship to. And I'm so honored to introduce Tuan Tran to you today. Tuan grew up in Emporia, and she's an art major, and she's with concentration in printmaking and painting. She's also one of those students that you love to get in your classes that elevates the discourse and brings an energy to the classroom that it just lifts up the whole group. Her work is thoughtful and well-researched and reflects her cultural concerns about where she fits in the world. Her projects illustrate her current state of being. As a person, Tuan is diplomatic and respectful to everyone she works with, and even though she doesn't completely agree with them. That diplomacy is key to becoming a great leader and a powerful artist. I have a quote here from Derek Wilkinson, who wrote her letter of recommendation. Tuan's artwork is beautiful, fresh, and relevant. Themes in Tuan's work are centered around the exploration of her personal identity and the identity of other members of minority groups. Aesthetically, she creates a complex juxtaposition between traditional representational painting techniques and the contemporary digital era that she's grown up in. If you want to see some examples of what we are talking about, the work that Tuan produces, it's currently on display in the Epping Gallery in King Hall at the Student Show and at the Emporia Art Center downtown. It's my honor to introduce Tuan.
creating such an environment to cultivate student success. I'd like to thank my academic mentors for never being short of knowledge, for always having advice and always pushing me towards a better, to be a better artist. I'd also like to thank my family for taking the time out of their schedule to be here today to support me. I'd like to say that having this award and having the title of Shepherd Scholar means a multitude of things for me. It means having an education without such a worry. It also means that I'm able to pursue a career in which I only thought was a hobby or was a dream, something that I thought was not able to be real. But more than that, I'd also like to think that having this award also means that I'm also accomplishing a little bit of what my family dreamt for us when we had decided to move to the United States. Being able to witness their child's success means so much more than just winning an award. Thank you.
Our final winner, Margaret Unruh, major in communication and music, will be introduced by Professor Tenley Vick of the Department of Communication, Theater, and, is that it?
It is my great honor to introduce all of you to Maggie Unruh. It is one of the pleasures of my position as an associate professor at Emporia State University to introduce you to one of the most phenomenal students that I have ever met in my career. Thank you to the Shepherd family for continuing your commitment to providing scholarships for the students in this room and for the many that came before them. Today I get the chance to tell you a little bit about Maggie and the outstanding things she has done at ESU. Maggie's a double major in music and communication, and she has exhibited exceptional academic success in both of these fields, as well as excelling across the general education curriculum. Maggie's an exceptional student, like all the Shepherd Scholars today in this room. She demonstrates her mastery in each class by excelling beyond many of her peers and analyzing complex theoretical material. But it is the success beyond the classroom that I would like to focus on today. Maggie has made the most of her time at ESU by engaging in the Emporia community, writing for the Bulletin, serving as a resident assistant in the dorms, and being an active member of Lambda Pi Eta, which is the Communication Honor Society. In addition, I have witnessed Maggie pursuing a plethora of opportunities in the Honors College. I have had the chance to see Maggie move beyond the skills of her peers through my 400 level family communication course. Maggie sailed through the extensive and incredibly complex theoretical material in the course, making connections to her life and providing examples for the rest of the class. In addition, Maggie completed a 20 scholarly citation research report at the end of the class. In that paper, not only did she peruse the literature of some of our most important scholars, but she also provided a personal narrative and her analysis of how those things came together. This is incredibly complex material for an undergraduate student. Her work was so exceptional that she and I are continuing to develop her research into a scholarly piece. This work is being supported by the Honors College at ESU as a research practicum in her honors curriculum. By the end of the semester, Maggie will submit her paper to OSCLG, the Organization for the Study of Communication, Language, and Gender, for a national level conference in the coming fall. OSCLG does not have an undergraduate or a student section for papers, so Maggie's paper will go shoulder to shoulder with the top gender and communication researchers in our field. I am confident that her manuscript will solidify Maggie a position to present alongside these strong and incredible researchers. And I know that in the future, when she goes to graduate school, that this will solidify connections that she will make, brought forth by her time here at Emporia State University. In addition to Maggie's exceptional writing and research skills, I have also had the opportunity to mentor Maggie as a teacher. Maggie is assisting me in teaching small group communication, which is a 300 level class in our major and required for all students in the communication major. I rarely offer this opportunity to students, and certainly only to students who have the goals of going to graduate school in communication. Through this opportunity, Maggie has is mentored firsthand in everything from test construction to lecturing, pedagogical choices, and perhaps most importantly in this course, dealing with intergroup conflict. Maggie has sailed through the instruction portion of the course and is now aiding the group in engaging in service learning in the Emporia community and writing an extensive research paper. She has aided these students in navigating the difficult conflicts and continues to provide theoretical insights into how the groups are functioning. It has been a great joy to engage with Maggie and help her grow. On a more personal note, I would like to also mention that Maggie is exceptionally kind, witty, and incredibly brilliant. Congratulations, Maggie. You've worked incredibly hard for this scholarship, and I'm thrilled to see all the opportunities open to you in the future.
First, to the Shepherd family, I am so grateful and humbled to receive this award, and honestly even more honored to get to be a part of the legacy of your family here at Emporia State University and in the Emporia community. Thank you for your generosity. Because of it, I am not only able to finish well at Emporia State, but I'm also able to continue in a meaningful way upon graduation. I also want to thank the many people who have been incredible supports in my life. I recognize that I'm here standing on the shoulders of many different people who have played many different roles for me. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Alan Comstock, Tenley Vick, and Dr. Michael Dennis. I'm not only a better student, a better researcher, a better musician, but I'm a better person because of the investment that all of you have taken in my life. Thank you.
I would like to say a few words now to the winners. In 1994, I was, at that point, director of our very, very small honors program. I was approached by Camilla Maxwell about the prospect of organizing some kind of recognition for students that would highlight and reward them for their academic excellence. And I was also encouraged to get together with a group of faculty who were Row Our Cross Scholars. That's the highest award given to faculty on campus. And so we got together and some of the ideas batted around were, we give them a nice certificate, maybe we have a nice dinner. And I remember one of the faculty members said, no, this is going to mean something. It needs to be a scholarship competition. And so the folks at the foundation came back and they said, we have found a wonderful family, Herschel and Augusta Shepard and their family, who are going to support this and are going to support it big time. Such that not only do you get a nice plaque, but a $1,200 scholarship. And so from that day, that time, 1994, the first the first Shepard Scholars were awarded. And so how it works, just so you all know, is that each student applicant, and to apply, you have to be super good to even apply. We had over 40 this year. Must submit a letter of application, 2 letters of recommendation from faculty or others, transcript, and a copy of their best academic work. That application is then reviewed by a team of Row R Cross scholars who score it with a common rubric, and in that way the winners are determined. This year we had 5 Row R Cross scholars review each application. They are Professor Richard Schrock of Biology, Professor Jim Persinger, Psychology, Professor Amy Sage-Webb, English, Modern Language and Journalism, Professor Phil Kelly of Social Science, and Professor Mel Storm of English, Modern Language and Journalism. A round of applause for these folks. So, winning this award, you were up against some very tough competition with some very tough judges. So you are to be congratulated for your outstanding work. Thank you so much for your efforts to excel and to achieve what you have achieved. Now, having said that, there's one more little point. As the evaluations are done and tabulated, one student has the highest score. And so at this point, that student, in addition, receives a Row R Cross scholarship. And it's always a surprise. We like to see people really get excited when they find out that they get something extra. So at this point, Patrick Martin, one of our newest Row R Cross scholars, will make this presentation.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to be here at this wonderful event, handing out money, academic excellence. I'll put on a coat and tie to do that. I would like to thank the Shepard family for the continued support of academic excellence. I think that's great, supporting that cause. I would like to also reiterate that this selection of the Shepard Scholars is a very rigorous process. It's the most prestigious honor a student can receive at Emporia State. And I would like to personally congratulate the 12 winners and remind them that I teach just down the hill there, and they could come sign up a class with me because I'd love to get them in my class. Like that was mentioned earlier, the Row R Cross professors will rank and review all of these applications, and they will select their top ranked person. And this year, the Row R Cross Distinguished Professor Scholarship recipient is Tuan Tran.
Thank you so much. It is truly an honor. I really didn't expect to be winning this Row R Cross scholarship. Thank you so much for everybody who's come out. And thank you again to the Shepard family for your wonderful support. Thank you.
Congratulations. Before we go, just a quick reminder. I think the most important thing here today is not your accomplishments, but the people that will be blessed because of your accomplishments. Always remember that academic excellence and achievement is first and foremost about service to others. As I look towards your futures, They're going to be awesome. You're going to do lots and lots of wonderful things. And we're so proud of you. Once again, thank you so much for all that you've done and all that you have given. I wanted to mention also that it is my personal goal that next year when we meet again, that there will be a history written of the Shepherd Scholar Award competition at ESU with a listing of all winners and, as best we can find out, where they're at today. We think that would be a wonderful thing, and they will be continually growing as new winners are named and new accomplishments are achieved. So just keep that in mind. We're very grateful, and thank you all very much for coming. Come on up. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, oh, yeah. We want to express our appreciation to you for your kindness with that bouquet of flowers. You make an extraordinary difference in the lives of many people. Thank you so much. Our ceremony. Congratulations again to all winners.